Morning, everybody. Dr. Evan here with Dr. Evan's Almost Daily Dose. Today is another special edition where I'm talking about post-Burning Man fatigue treatments. So last time I talked about the causes of post-Burning Man fatigue, and today I'm going to talk about the treatments. So I'm going to run through these rather quickly because there's a lot that I'd like to get through, and then I'm going to post it with a spreadsheet that's going to include all of the dosing so that you can have access to that. So let's jump right in. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Evan Hirsch. I'm a functional medicine MD, and I specialize in helping people resolve their chronic fatigue. And I'm on a mission to help 100,000 people resolve their chronic fatigue. So that's what I do in my business life. But I did just get back from Burning Man and had an amazing time. And a bunch of my friends are telling me about how they're having fatigue, and so I want to talk about why they would be having fatigue after Burning Man. So if you want more information on the causes, you can see the other video that I posted yesterday. So sleep. So what I would recommend for those of you who are struggling with sleep since you've been back from Burning Man is that you start taking some evening supplements, nutrients, neurotransmitters in order to help reset your sleep cycle. So I like things like melatonin and GABA and lemon balm and 5-HTP and a number of these things. All of these things you can find together in a product called Insomnitol that I like, and so that'll be part of the packet that I post. And I'd recommend you start off with 1 capsule a night, increase to 2 capsules if you need it. Also, I oftentimes recommend that people take additional liposomal melatonin if they need it, up to 20 milligrams, if they're not sleeping well. If people are groggy in the morning from too much melatonin, it's because the melatonin detoxifies the brain, so it's getting out all this wonderful crap that you want to get out, but you're groggy in the morning, so you have to take some detoxification support. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So Insomnitol in the evenings. The other thing about sleep is that oftentimes that sleep dysregulation, circadian rhythm dysfunction, where your sleep-wake cycle is upset, requires you to take more stimulating things in the morning that might have been depleted. So taking the adrenal support in the morning that we're going to talk about in a minute, B12, iron, thyroid, if that's an issue for people. So all of those things will help reset that circadian rhythm. So the next thing after sleep is, and then of course, optimizing your sleep hygiene. So making sure that your life is conducive to sleep. You want to make sure that you're going to bed at 10 o'clock, 10:30, no later than that really. You're going to miss your window of sleep for most people. You want to make sure that your room is dark. You're not doing anything stimulating after dinner, so no watching horror movies or getting into arguments with family members. You just want to create the ultimate sleep environment for yourself, and you're trying to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. It's going to take a while for you to catch up, and you never really catch up on sleep that you've lost, but it can help. So next is adrenal fatigue, adrenal dysfunction. The adrenal gland we talked about last time, responsible for mitigating or for managing stress in the body. I recommend a product called Adrenal PX. That's P as in Paul, X as in X-ray. It's a Luthero root with some other herbs. It's really amazing. I take it. I can't recommend it enough. 1 capsule every 3 hours while you're awake until 4 p.m. So oftentimes that's morning, noon, 3 o'clock. So 3 or 4 times a day, depending on what time you wake up. But you want to take 1 capsule every 3 hours. If you find that that's helpful, but that's not enough, you can go up to 2 or 3 capsules, and usually very well tolerated. If you get wired, or if you start to have problems sleeping, it's because you're taking too much, usually that 3 p.m. dose. But I find that with the adrenals, they generally last in the body about 3 hours, and so you have to take them every 3 hours. So that's adrenal. Next is infections. So if you feel like you're getting a cold, sore throat, big lymph nodes, not sure where you got it from, your immune system has been compromised since you got back, I recommend colloidal silver, 10 sprays 3 times a day. While you are not feeling well, you can also do a maintenance of a couple sprays a day, but that works incredibly well. Also, high-dose vitamin D at around 20,000 international units a day, and that combination works wonderfully. Colloidal silver is a broad-spectrum antimicrobial, and so it just works tremendously well, gets all sorts of infections, and can really, clean up the body and reset the immune system. And then vitamin D boosts the immune system and its function. Next is nutrient deficiencies, so that could be vitamin D we just talked about, which you should be taking around 5,000 international units a day. B12, I recommend an active B12 folate, which I will put in the PDF giveaway. And you should be taking 2 of those, so that would be around 4,000 micrograms. Now, I would only recommend that you take a lot of this stuff for a few months. You do want to get lab tests to determine whether or not you actually need this, but in the interim, there's nothing wrong with juicing your body up for a period of 1 to 3 months, and then you can let things fall off, stop the B12 for a week or 2 and see how you feel. If you don't feel as well off of it, then you can restart it because your body most likely needs it. Iron is another nutrient that you may need, but you definitely want to see whether you're deficient in that. You don't want to take it if you are not deficient in it. Next is a lack of exercise. And so, at Burning Man, you're biking a lot and whatnot. So if you're home and now you're sedentary again, start doing some jumping jacks. Really easy to do. Do as many jumping jacks as you can until you're tired. If it wastes you for the rest of the day, or for the next day, then you know that was too many jumping jacks, so you're going to probably want to cut down by half. So I like to do around 50 jumping jacks a day. Sometimes you spread it out throughout the day, sometimes you don't, but just really great for moving the lymph, getting the body moving, and really exercise is the ultimate panacea, the ultimate cure for everything, really is movement in our life. And did you know that emotion comes from motion? And so actually moving is incredibly helpful for emotion and for feeling good. Next is dehydration. So you're going to want to be drinking around 3 liters of water a day, putting a pinch or more of sea salt in every 8 ounces of water, and that is going to be great for your adrenals as well as resetting your electrolytes now that you're back from Burning Man. Next is constipation. If you are constipated, you need to do my magnesium ramp up. And so that is taking a specific form of magnesium. I think triple magnesium is the one I'm going to recommend. 250 milligrams per capsule, and you increase by 1 capsule every 3 days until you get soft stools and the stools that you want. You want to make sure that you're stooling every day, 1 to 2 times a day. And so by working up to this slowly every 3 days, you're not going to end up having diarrhea. If you increased every day, you would overshoot, you'd have diarrhea, and you'd have to back off. So if you take enough magnesium, you will get the stools that you want. And so that will help clean you out. Plus, going for a colonic can be very helpful. Next is mold. If you had any sort of, it's possible, if something's got wet, if you spilled some stuff on your tent and then you were sleeping in your tent, you may have had some mold. It's unlikely with how hot it was out there, but if you had some mold, you could take some activated charcoal, 6 capsules a day, 90 minutes away from all food and supplements. Works great. And in combination with glutathione, which we're going to talk about in just a second. So with the toxicity that you may have acquired out there from using whatever substances you were using, you do want to clean out the body, and you want to do this with glutathione, which is the body's main antioxidant and detoxifier. You're going to want to start off by doing 1 spray twice a day, increasing every other day by a spray twice a day until you get up to 12 sprays twice a day. Halfway through that, you're going to add in, and that product is called ACG. That's a certain form of glutathione. And then halfway through that, when you should get up to 6 twice a day of the glutathione, you're going to want to add in ACZ, which is a zeolite, where you start off the same way, 1 spray twice a day, increase every other day until you get up to 12 sprays twice a day. Now, if you find that you're reacting at all to either one of these products, you're going to want to slow that down to increasing by a spray twice a day every week. And oftentimes it can you need some slower ramp up, because you're opening up detoxification pathways, binding up toxins, removing them. This is an amazing detox for anybody, just to start to get the crap out of the body. We're exposed to 80,000 chemicals every year, 80,000 new chemicals dumped in our supply, tens of thousands of tons of mercury dumped into our oceans. I mean, just so much exposure. So this is not only going to get all this crap out from Burning Man that you acquired, but also clean your body out. Next is methylation issues, which has to do with detoxification. The active B12 folate that I recommended is going to help out with that. Mitochondrial dysfunction, which has to do with the energy center of every cell in the body. I recommend that you take 2 capsules of UBQH, which is coenzyme Q10, 2 capsules every morning, and 1 capsule of a product called mitochondrial NRG by Designs for Health, which has a whole bunch of other components that really help the mitochondria. Sometimes people react to this one because it's got a bunch of B vitamins, and if you do, then don't take it, but it can be very supportive as well, just 1 capsule in the morning as well. Next is the neurotransmitters. So we talked last time about 5-HTP to boost your serotonin levels, which is so incredibly important. And you're going to get some 5-HTP, 100 milligrams every single night by taking that insomnitol. That may be enough for you, but you may need additional 50 milligrams or 100 milligrams of 5-HTP every morning. And last but not least, the diet that you had at Burning Man, it may have been better than your current diet, or it may have been worse. So if you feel worse now since you've been home, it could be because your diet was better at Burning Man. Sometimes, having a minimalistic diet, not cooking foods, just think about what your diet was. I recommend the paleo diet for everybody. It's an amazing diet. Meat and veggies and no grains is incredibly helpful for so many people. So that can be helpful. And, food allergies and food toxicities from gluten and dairy can be big problems. So removing gluten and dairy from your life can also be a big help. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you want to learn more about the causes, go back to my other video. If you want to learn more about the other causes of fatigue, if you know somebody who has fatigue, send them over to my website, fixyourfatigue.org. I've got free 15-minute phone consults going on right now until I fill up my practice, and I really appreciate all the wonderful response. Please share this video with anybody who's got back from Burning Man and may be suffering with fatigue. And don't forget to check out my book on Amazon, Fix Your Fatigue, the 4 steps to resolving chronic fatigue, achieving abundant energy, and reclaiming your life. This is Dr. Evan. I hope you have an amazing day. Thanks for watching.